Vanished professions, 40 jobs that no longer exist. Breaker boy, breaker boys, some as young as 5, manually removed impurities from coal in harsh conditions. Public outrage over their injuries, fueled by photos, led to child labor reforms in the 1920s. Key punch operator. A key punch operator enters data accurately using a keyboard or similar device working independently. Punched cards were common until the 1970s but became obsolete with cheaper CRT computer terminals. Billy boy. A billy boy, typically a young male, prepared tea for workers in blacksmith shops, construction sites, and railroad yards. Toad doctors. Toad doctors, common in 19th century England, used folk magic to treat scrofula. Patients wore a live or dead toad in a muslin bag around their neck for healing. Slubberdoffers. In early 1900s U.S. textile mills, slubberdoffers replaced bobbins, swept floors, and sometimes became spinners. The work was dangerous, causing injuries and illness. Child labor declined after World War I and ended in the U.S. by 1933. Phrenologist. Phrenologists studied skull shape, believing it indicated intelligence and personality. Popular in the 19th century, this pseudoscience, developed in 1796, was later debunked by neuroscientists as lacking empirical evidence. Water carrier. Water carriers transported water before plumbing made the job obsolete. Once common worldwide, the profession declined as tap water spread. By 2015, only a few remained, earning little for physically demanding work. Broom squire. Broom squires, poor rural artisans in pre-1800s England, made besom brooms from birch or heather and grazed livestock. Marginalized in society, their trade appeared in literature and was sometimes linked to paganism. Castrato. In the 16th century, boys were castrated before puberty to create powerful, high-pitched voices for Italian opera. Castrati became celebrities, but the practice was illegal, inhumane, and eventually ended. Rags and Bone Man. The rag and bone man, dating to the Middle Ages, collected rags and bones with a horse-drawn wagon. In Yorkshire, they sold wool scraps to shoddy factories which recycled wool into cloth. Gong farmer. Until the early 20th century, gong farmers removed human waste from privies, transporting it for reuse. Exposed to disease, they worked at night and often lived away from towns. Dry salter. In 18th century UK, dry salters sold chemicals, dyes, and preservatives for dried, tinned, and salted foods. Some also traded potash, logwood, flax, and hemp. Radio actors. From the 1920s to 1950s, radio dramas thrived, using sound alone to tell stories. Television ended their popularity in America, but they persist elsewhere, with podcasts reviving interest in audio storytelling. Bullocky. A bullocky, or bullwhacker in America, drove bullock teams for transport in Australia from 1795. Before railways, they hauled supplies, wool, and wheat. Skilled and tough, they navigated rough, winding tracks. Sea sponge harvester. Ancient Greeks and Romans used sea sponges for bathing, cosmetics, and embalming. Today, they're valued for skincare and cleaning, though harvesting remains costly and limited to a few commercial species. Fuller. Fullers cleansed and thickened wool, a task so unpleasant that Roman slaves did it, using urine for its ammonia. In the Middle Ages, fuller's earth replaced urine, improving working conditions. Film projectionist. Film projectionists operated movie projectors in theaters. But with digital projection replacing film, the job has become rare and largely obsolete. Cavalry soldiers? Cavalry soldiers rode horses, camels, or elephants, but modern militaries replaced them with ground, air, and water vehicles. World War I and II were the last major conflicts to use cavalry. Clockkeeper. Clockkeepers once rang bells and later maintained mechanical clocks to ensure accuracy. Though less essential today, turret clocks remain valued for their timekeeping and historical significance in local communities. Cabin boy. A cabin boy assisted officers, ran errands, helped in the kitchen, and climbed rigging. Usually aged 8 to 16, they also stood watch and occasionally steered the ship. Today, steward's assistants fill this role. Mud clerk. Mud clerks were steamboat apprentices during the American Civil War, responsible for making bank landings when stuck in mud and performing various menial tasks to maintain the vessel. Mudlark. Mudlarks were 19th century scavengers who searched the Thames's polluted banks at low tide for valuables, often amid raw sewage and occasional corpses. Typewriter mechanic. A typewriter mechanic repaired mechanical typewriters, once essential for printing text. As computers and digital printers replaced typewriters, this profession became obsolete. Video rental associate. Video rental associates stocked shelves, assisted customers, and processed rentals of VHS tapes and DVDs. Streaming services replaced physical media, leading to the decline of video rental stores in this profession. Elevator operator. Early elevators required trained operators to control speed and stop accurately using a lever. Modern elevators are automated, and today's few remaining operators primarily focus on security rather than manual operation. If you could experience one of these forgotten jobs for a day, just to see what it was like, which one would you choose and why? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell so you never miss a deep dive into history. Colportage. Colportage is the distribution of books and religious tracts by colporteurs. It emerged during the Reformation and expanded through organizations like the American Tract Society and Moody Publishers, influencing religious literature dissemination. Mursmecka. A mursmecka was a 19th century Swedish profession for poor women who supplied mortar at construction sites, especially in Stockholm. The job disappeared in 1922. Chimney sweeper. A chimney sweep clears soot and creosote, inspects and repairs chimneys, and advises homeowners on maintenance. In the 1870s, children still did this dangerous job, risking injury and illness. Wheelwright. A wheelwright crafted and sold wooden wheels mainly for farm equipment and steam machinery. As metal and rubber wheels replaced wood, the profession declined in the late 20th century. Vivandiere. Vivandiere served alongside armies, tending wounds, sewing, cooking, and carrying supplies in wars like the Napoleonic Wars and the Civil War. The French War Ministry disbanded them before World War I. Deal porter. Deal porters were London dock workers who stacked softwood planks up to 60 feet high. Their dangerous job required strength and agility. Mechanization made them obsolete by the 1940s, but memorials remain in Rotherhithe. Newspaper readers. Some American factories employed readers who sat on platforms and read aloud to workers. In 1930, a newspaper reader entertained cigar rollers in Key West, Florida, much like a live workplace performer. Deer cullers. In the 1930s, New Zealand hired deer cullers to control the growing deer population. Government-funded culling ended in the 1970s with the rise of commercial hunting. Footman. A footman was a uniformed male servant in wealthy homes attending tables and carriages. Though rare today, some still serve the British royal family. Lamp trimmer. A lamp trimmer maintained oil lamps on ships, ensuring clean, bright flames by trimming wicks and refilling reservoirs. The role persisted even after electric lighting replaced oil lamps. Laukurissa were Karelian peddlers in Finland and Sweden from the mid-19th to early 20th century, selling textiles and household goods. Their trade declined with stores' expansion and Finland's independence. Lithuanian book smugglers. Lithuanian book smugglers defied a Russian ban, 1864-1904, by secretly distributing Latin alphabet Lithuanian books. They faced exile and execution, but their efforts preserved Lithuanian identity and resisted Russification. Pullman porter. Pullman porters, mostly black men, worked on sleeper cars from the 1860s to 1968, forming the first all-black union in 1925. They played a key role in the civil rights movement. Slave catcher. Slave catchers tracked and returned escaped slaves, starting in the 16th century. They were active in American colonies, the U.S., and other slaveholding nations until slavery was abolished. Telegram messenger. Telegram messengers delivered printed telegraph messages and often carried responses back. Their role became obsolete with the rise of telephones and electronic messaging. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your support and I hope to see you in the next video.